Good morning, YouTube. This morning I was going to do just a flight around Los Angeles area, and just kind of have a sightseeing tour. Just have a look around the area and see what it looks like, and explore a little bit, and then land right back here at the airport. However, I'm matching real-world weather conditions in X-Plane 11, and as you can see, the weather, well, it's looking a bit overcast today, so. Um, I think what we'll do is we'll just move on to Oxnard, California, or KOXR. We'll just do a GPS flight there. We'll use our instruments to guide us in since we have very low visibility. I'm not sure what the cloud ceiling is, whether or not anything below 2,000 feet is, relatively visible or not, but we'll get into the air and we'll find out shortly. Let me pull this out and work with it. KOXR, Oxnard. And then we'll do a procedure. I was thinking runway 25. I was looking at Sky Vector, so I've kind of already got an idea of what I want to do this morning. So we'll do this one, the RNAV 25 GPS LPV for runway 25. And Sadie sounds good. We'll activate it. That way we're flying directly to Sadie. Kudak, we need to be at 4,200 feet. And see, this is one of the things I like about X-Plane is it tells you what feet you need to be at for your approach. So that information comes in handy. So I'll fly to at least 4,000 feet this morning. So we'll be in the clouds for certain. There won't be much to see, but this will be a great example of why you need to be able to fly using your instruments. Alright, so that one's programmed and ready to go. We do need to check ATIS. ATIS for Oxnard is 118.05.
Oxnard information Charlie. 1500 Zulu weather. Wind light and variable, visibility more than 10. Sky clear, temperature 13, dew point 7. Altimeter 2973. Arriving runway 25, departing runway 25. Advise on initial contact you have Charlie.
Okay, so that was good. We got the altimeter there, and we also know that we can land at runway 25, which we've already got pre-programmed. So the flaps, the rudder, yaw, ailerons, they all look good. Beacon lights, nav lights, taxi lights, all working. Some nice big aircraft there. Several of them. All right, let's see if we can find ourselves to the taxi, or taxi to the runway. Find ourselves to the runway and taxi. Yeah, I was really, really, really looking forward to doing some sightseeing in Los Angeles. All right, I'm just doing circles now, trying to navigate around these big guys. His wheels aren't even on the ground. It's uneven pavement here. All right, bear with me. I'm going to cut across the, well, no, just do this here. Can I go that way? All right, this is weird. Very, very, very uneven. Interesting pavement. Helicopter. I see those things. It makes me want to fly one. Cool. Rotating.
Traffic.
Flaps are retracted. Taxi and landing lights are off. Alright, I'm going to initiate the autopilot. And I have a feeling we're going to be all in the clouds for a while. I think I'll fly to 2,500 feet. Maybe 3,000. We don't need to fly as high as 4,000 feet when we're only going for maybe 20 minutes or so. Alright, 3,000 feet altitude hold. Looks like we're just above the clouds. Let's get RPMs to around 2,500. Let's see if we can lean it out any. So if we look at the GTN750, you notice over here is the red for the terrain. That's anything we could hit because we're not high enough altitude. We shouldn't have any worries here by the look of it. The approach plate, it doesn't show up until we get to where we're going to be starting our approach. So all of our pertinent information for the approach is on that approach plate. Kind of looks odd when it's, you know, showing you the terrain and whatnot and the water and the ground, and then all of a sudden it shows you this white piece of paper with information on it. But that's because we input our approach, and it has, again, it has all the information we need. It tells us our initial fix, our initial air fix, 4,200 feet at Kudak, and then it tells us 3,200 feet at Hoopla. But it's useful information to have. But the GPS also knows that same information. So anyways, we're only flying at 3,000 feet, so we'll be well within, you know, we'll be fine. We'll be fine, you know, around Hoopla, which is 3,200 feet. Not much but clouds. Now there's a break, and these mountains concern me a little bit, but I'll just have to pay attention. I don't want to hit any mountains this morning. I do hope that this thing will warn us if we're getting close to any terrain that we could potentially hit. That is looking close, but I mean, we could fly over that. But it's definitely elevated. It's something we should be somewhat concerned about. Perhaps I should raise to 4,200 feet just to get over that. So I will keep an eye on that. If we get into the clouds and I can't see it, I may just climb just in case. In fact, why don't we do that? Why don't we raise it to 4,000 feet just to be on the safe side instead of pushing our luck. I think we're good, but I'll do an altitude hold at 4,000. All right, altitude hold. I think we'll definitely pass over those mountains just fine. Looks like it's clearing up a bit in here. It's hazy, but it's not so overcast, so we won't have very limited visibility as far as landing goes. Things could change, weather could change a little bit, but right now it's looking all right. We've only got another 12 minutes left in the flight. Never heard of Oxnard myself, but it's just one of the airports I chose to land at as we're flying north for a little bit. I think once we get to a certain point north, then we'll head south to Tijuana and South America. Warmer regions, not colder ones. Closer to the equator. Cop car. There's nobody else on the road, so I don't know why he's got his lights on. Oh, there are other people on the road. I just couldn't see them relative to him until I zoomed in. It's always fun to see stuff like that. I don't know why it's there, but it'd be kind of cool to see him pull someone over. The QDAC, I'll be looking to see if we begin our approach. Alright, if not QDAC, perhaps Hoopla. I don't know if that's another airport or if that's the one we're going to, or if this is more along the lines of where we're headed. And of course, that, yeah, I do see Pappy lights there, so that might be where we're going. Closer to the coast. Alright, we're beginning our approach. I'm going to slow the aircraft down. I'll start extending flaps once we start descending. Landing and taxi lights being turned back on. And I'll try to maintain about 60 knots all the way in. Again, because we're using the GTN750, we are not matched with magnetic north. So this is our true heading, and this is incorrect. That would be more or less, or more along the lines of our true heading right there. And we're doing a landing at runway 250, and our VOR1 is not set to 250, so it's bypassing the VOR1 and the heading indicator and just going with the GTN750 GPS. Alright, we've lost a little bit more speed than I wanted to. 55 knots is okay, so I'm going to just watch it. Give it a little more power. Now this side's pretty steady. That other side was kind of almost like it's loose or broken. It looks steady from behind. Now I see it. I see it. They're both doing it. Okay. There's probably trim adjustments. Maybe. I don't know. The rear is doing it too a little bit. Now we are above 60 knots. Now, about the time I set it, we got a gust of headwind and slowed us down. So it must be a little windy out there this morning. Visibility's okay. Nothing we couldn't get a visual on and land. But having left Los Angeles, it was looking pretty rough in that area. It's like another island out there. It's the outer marker. At that point, it seems redundant. You know, when you're coming in for a landing, you kind of already know you're coming in for a landing. For me, it's not even pertinent information to know that I've reached the outer marker, the middle marker, or the inner marker, you know. But maybe for some pilots and for zero visibility, maybe those things are important. But, you know, based off of, you know, if you're on the glide path, you can kind of get a feel for how close you are to the runway just by looking at your altitude indicator. You know, I'm still 1,200 feet high, so I've still got a distance to go. But if I'm 200 feet, well, I'm right on the runway. You know what I mean? And that's about the time we'd be seeing the inner marker. Maybe 300 feet. Let's see how high we are when we do see the inner marker. If we see it. Now, I'm going to back the speed down just a little bit because we're a tad above 60 knots. And it doesn't have to be right on, but I like to be pretty specific with what I do on my landings so that they're mostly the same every time out. And they're not always the same. That's going to change depending on wind, direction, and speed. And, you know, minor or micro adjustments by me that I may have miscalculated. Now let me look at the MDA for this. Is about 300 feet. So if I see the inner marker at 300 feet, I'll kill the autopilot, fly it in the remainder of the distance. We didn't get an indicator for the middle marker. Alright, 400 feet. 300 feet, killing the autopilot.
Traffic.
I don't see that we got an indicator for the middle or the inner. We just got the outer. And that's fine. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I noticed. Flaps being retracted. Ooh, maybe we'll park next to this helicopter. Ooh, a Jet Ranger. I used to like flying those. Slow it down here so we can get a good visual on those. Of course, my be blocking the the helicopter. All right. All right, let's do a replay. That was a pretty smooth landing. It felt good. All right, YouTube. Thank you for watching. Y'all have a good day.